Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Your Human Design for Vitality, how your aura type, authority, and centers hold the bioenergetic codes for balance, energy, and ease. My name is Stephen Dyna. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm delighted to be diving deeper into the human design system, which has really gotten a lot of traction in the whole transformational space in recent years because it's very effective at giving you a whole different understanding of your energetic systems and how to align those with your highest contribution and what really works for you. We're going to get to explore some of these deeper dimensions of the system with LaVeena B. Archers today. She's a holistic functional medical medicine doctor. She's a psychologist and health systems analyst and is really at the forefront of understanding how human design can apply in our lives. So, Reverend Dr. Archers, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Stephen. It's a pleasure to be here. Very honored to be able to share human design with your network.
Great. Well, we're going to dive in and we're going to get a lot of good information today and some experiential taste as well. And if you want to go further, we're going to have a brand new program with Dr. Archers that is called your bioenergetic map for vitality that goes much deeper into the applications. So we'll share more about that towards the end of the hour. So, LaVeena, I'm going to go with your first name just for informal purposes from this point. But LaVeena, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your journey with human design, how it became such an illuminating map for your own development, and why you've devoted a lot of your life force to advancing the system.
Thank you. I would appreciate being able to share just a little bit of the journey. It's been two cycles of deconditioning. So in human design, we have a 7-year cycle, life moving in 7-year cycles. And 2 cycles ago, someone took me by the shoulders. I was a oneness blessing giver. And someone said, "You have to go see this guy. He needs to tell you about your human design." And that man took me by the shoulders and said, "You need to know this," because he could see that the way that I was living my life wasn't in alignment with who I really was. And from that moment on, being able to study, learn, master the system, it took a lot of time and energy, yes, money too, but also the availability of being able to focus and penetrate deeply into systems is one of the things that this particular design happens to be really good at. So being able to study from the perspective of deeply going into how human beings are designed to function. So knowing the genetic blueprint or your biological difference, your predisposition to form differentiation is really the thing that makes me tick. And why I like to do this work is because it is so accurate and so deep and so penetrating into the core of who you are. It answers all these questions. For me, I know it did. Answered all the questions of why I was like this, and why is my daughter like that, and why is my husband like this, and why do I have 2 ex-husbands? Like just all of the different stuff that you get all confused about. You wonder in the back of your mind, am I doing this right? Is this the right decision? Is this the wrong decision? So in order to learn at a very deep and fundamental level, I've been using the system teaching as well as tutoring, mentoring, and guiding people in order to get to the bottom of how they can make decisions that feel fundamentally aligned and authentic so that they can live their highest path and purpose. And that's the thing that since I was a kid, very, very interested in the esoterics, hunting the esoteric bookstores. My mom had a lot of books on her shelf. So to be able to use such a profound and accurate system to show the mapping of how you're here to be who you are for yourself, for others, for the world, there's nothing like that. So I'm really excited to be able to share this journey with you now at
Hmm.
this level.
I'd love for you to share a little bit about how human design illuminated specific things for you about how you
Mhm.
tick in a way that like helped you orient your life in a whole different way.
Well, okay, so one of the key fundamental core uniquenesses about my design, I'm a projector. We are the advisors who can guide, and we are designed to focus and penetrate into one person at a time. We're not really designed for large groups or even small groups, unless we have particular life force activations that show us that we can maybe somewhat hold a role or a position within these group dynamics. So one of the things that I really had a lot of difficult difficulties with is family. as well as being at work, where when you're compressed into, let's say, an elevator, everybody knows it feels kind of uncomfortable to be in an elevator for, that short period of time. You're riding up and down the elevator and you've got all these people around you. Well, some people may not have that kind of experience like I do, where it really feels uncomfortable. Sometimes things will spout out of my mouth because I become the voice or the spokesperson of a group of people. And so I might be standing at the grocery store and all of a sudden I'm saying stuff and I'm really not sure why I'm saying these things. And it's because I have one of those channels that speaks for the group. So that's an example. Ever since I was a kid, always being asked to go, hey, you go speak for us, you go represent us, you play this part or this role of being able to represent a company. And so that's one of the cool examples, just from a simple, just one of the simple ways that we can see, oh, this is why I'm really good at being the PR for this company and why I keep getting recognized and invited into it. And also when it comes to, we're going to talk about authority today, how we make decisions that are in alignment with who we are. And as a projector, I'm here for an other, to know who the other is, for their highest success. And that's how I get my success. So instead of trying to figure myself out, which I've spent most of my life trying to do, focusing on other people and helping them to success, I got my success and reward. So it showed the predisposition for what kind of role I can play with others.
What a great overview and explanation. I think that provides a great context. And let's dive into some of the more advanced understandings that I think are going to help illuminate things for people today. So let's talk about aura type first and what that is and how that reveals deeper things about our spiritual nature.
Absolutely. Because in essence, the spirit of abundance that arises from inside has 4 different expressions, just basic. And this is not to label people, lock them up in a box and say, this is only for you and that's all you have. We all have a multidimensional experiential reality. In fact, those types actually come from either the channels, the flows of energy, or the lack thereof. There's a very rare type that is the reflector. The reflector has a completely white or open blueprint. There is no channel. They have actually an imprint that's very deeply tied to the moon. And the spirit of their abundance that arises from inside is the surprise, the nature of being able to just see what's there, be either in awe at the magnificence, the beauty, the wonderment, or maybe just, wow, I didn't know that was there. But life is a surprise for them. And that's their energetic nature or makeup. You would think that someone who has so much openness actually is vulnerable, and they're not. They have this aura that is like Teflon. It's resistant in sampling. And what it does is that it can amplify or magnify what's happening around them. And what happens around them is that they actually enlighten or enliven the energy of a group. They are designed to be large group people. So that's one type of aura. Again, I'm a projector, mine's focused and penetrating, here to help people find success, knowing who they are for themselves, here for systems mastery, here for guidance, advice. Whereas the reflector, we too are non-energy types, meaning we're more about the awareness of the environmental construct. For me, it's the one other person at a time. For the reflector, it is the milieu or the group that they happen to be a part of. They're really great facilitators. Now, those are the non-energy types. We have 2 energy types, and one of them is generative. Those are the most fundamental and fecund of the human realm. If we didn't have generators, energy beings, people who could generate in response to be who they are for themselves, so that they can have the fundamental nature of satisfaction, being who they are for themselves. What happens at satisfaction of building their world, of really being more self-absorbed or self-involved, not necessarily selfish. It depends on a lot of other things going on, but the aura shows what they're here for. That broad, open, enveloping generative energy frequency that can almost envelop the entirety of whatever it is that they're around, whoever it is that they're around. Some are more large group or small group, depending on the configuration or the uniqueness of the design. But these are the people who create our world. They're the builders of our world. Now, that's most of humanity, 67% or so. The last that I'll mention, which is usually mentioned first, the creator, founder of the system, Ra Uru, he was a manifester. Manifestors, it's not that the rest of us can't manifest. It's just that these are the people who are here to initiate, they have impact. Their aura is dense and repelling, whereas the generator is the open, enveloping. So they're very opposite of each other. The manifester has energy. There are 4 different energy centers within the human design body graph. Energy directly connected to the throat without the generative hum of the builder or the generator's sacral world. So those 2 energy types, they are very, very different than the non-energy types. And when we talk about aura, we're literally talking about the frequency or the availability of this aura. All of our auras breathe. All of them flex and mold. You can feel it when you're feeling expansive. You can feel when you're contracted, like let's say in the elevator with a bunch of people you really don't know, and maybe it doesn't smell very good in there, whatever it happens to be for you. You can feel your aura move. You can feel it, your energy. So when we are in alignment with the energy, because the aura creates or builds the body, then we're more likely to experience the ease and flow of being available to what we're really here for, rather than our mind making decisions. I should do this, I should do that, stop shitting on yourself. Come into alignment to the space with grace that you have to be the person that you were born to be. And that's what human design basically fundamentally gives us the access to. These types are simply to give us a decision-making strategy. And then we see what authoritative process within the body. For a few of you, it's a process outside of you, like the connection that the reflectors have with the moon. But for most of us, there's a felt sense in the body. And when we tap into that authoritative process, it's usually one of those centers that is colored in the body graph. What happens is now we can have this attunement to life as it ebbs and flows, it pulses, it has patterns, it has cycles. And when we tap into that, now we can come to grips with what it is to be ourselves, rather than trying to push against the river or current of thinking that we should do something different than what we already are. And that's what I love about this system. It allows you to just relax into the space that you hold. It's your aura, and your aura is you. It is your body.
Hmm. That's really illuminating. And you started to get into a little bit there. Can you do the similar sort of like overview of the authority areas?
Absolutely. Half of the population, they're emotional like me. So we go up and down on an emotional wave. Our life is about the chemistry, the alchemical ability to feel things deeply in the body, either through need, passion, or desire. My energy happens to go along the stream of desire, the burning fire, the clinging fire of fate. Sometimes there's a lot of fantasy, a lot of energy in this voice. And every emotional person is going to experience a different kind of wave, frequency, or pattern, depending on what channels are there, what aliveness or what vibrance is inside of that beautiful, magnificent map, again, not the territory. We learn over time, us emotional people, to come to grips with being, sometimes people are wishy-washy. That's sometimes their experience. And sometimes others are very demanding or very powerful, or maybe they're shy and reticent. But in all cases with the emotional, it is an up and down wave form. And what that means is that in the moment of somebody asking, hey, LaVeena, do you want to be on the Shift Network? Yes, absolutely. No. I've got to wait for a bit to feel out the wave of how it feels in my body, to be okay with whatever it is that I'm deciding. Now, that is, again, half the population. The builders, the generators of our world, they have a sacral response, or an or a yes and no, that is immediate. Now, sometimes, about half of them have the emotional system as well. Sometimes it's connected. And what that means then is that that response goes through away because there is a channel there. But if there's no channel to the emotional, the solar plexus system, and we just have that red sacral square, if you look down at your body graph, you see a red sacral square. You don't see on the, let's see, if you're looking down on the right-hand side, you don't see a triangle, brown triangle. Your sacral energy, your vibrancy, your aliveness, your ability to respond, your respondability has to do with an energetic, you could call it the lower dantian, right above your pubic bone, right below the belly button. And that energy is available. It's alive. It says yes and it says no. Energetic, sound wise, non-verbal guttural utterance if you don't have that red sacral connected up to the throat. So when you find that you're following who you are for yourself, what do you have available energy for? You just follow that. It used to be the person that I would envy the most when I first started studying human design. I wish I had that. That seems so amazing, so awesome. That is a huge portion of humanity. The last one that I'll go through, the other ones are minor, they're rare, a little bit more difficult. I really want to show people the uniqueness of each of those different authoritative types. But the vast majority are either going to be emotional, sacral, generative, or splenic. Now, splenic is the least followed of all of the authoritative types. Your intuition, isn't there a lot of studying and classes nowadays? Follow your intuition, follow your instincts. This one is very soft and quiet and hunch. It's less followed because what happens if you don't have the emotional system, you don't have a sacral system, what happens is those are motor functions. And if you are not paying attention to your still quiet hunch, your mind can amplify the emotions. Let's say you're around someone like me. I'm really excited. I'm all excited. I'm getting you riled up and you're like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. But something in the back of your like skin, the goosebumps, the lymph nodes, the tactile feeling of like saying getting chicken skin or the hairs raising on the back of your neck. If you're not paying attention to what's right for you, then you're the one that ends up in the hospital going, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have gone sledding down that hill. I felt it. That kind of energy from inside the body, when you start to tap into your innate ability to go with the flow of what your energetic nature is, then you find that life gets a lot easier. Not necessarily easy, but easier, because now you're tapping in or tuning in to the nature of how you're here to trust the body temple. And the body is the life. It is the form that follows our function of what we're here for. So of those three, those are going to be the most common. Does that help?
Yeah, totally helpful.
Okay.
I'd be really great at sort of differentiating each one in a really clear way. So, and then how about the centers?
Oh, yeah. So centers, we've been talking about the splenic center, emotions, the solar plexus. Sorry, the splenic center we just talked about was the felt sense in the body as far as our physical nature, our physical awareness. The generator motor, the sacral, that's the red square in the middle if you have it. And that is going to be our energetic vitality, our availability to, build a world. Now, just because I don't have that, I'm not a generator, projector, doesn't mean that I don't have that center. Everyone has everything in the body graph. So when you look down at your body graph, you're going to see that there's some white areas, there's some colored in areas, anything that has color to it, those geometric shapes. Those are the consistent, reliable, trustworthy aspects of you. So going back to the beginning of emotional being, that means then I'm always going to be creating the emotional template or the emotional felt sense of whoever is in the room with me hooked into my energy, my frequency. So when we look at the centers themselves, think of them as energetic vortices. Four in particular are very much about energy. So we talked about the sacral, that's energy. The solar plexus, that's energy, emotional energy. There are two more energy functions or centers. One is this tiny little triangle. You'll see it off to the side. And that one, if it's colored in, it's red. That's the heart or the willpower, your willful determination. Now, besides the heart, egoic nature, we also at the very bottom have the root. This is our adrenaline function. And this is the ability for our Kundalini energy to rise up. This is the energy for pressure. It's stress, physical stress. And stress is not always bad. We need good stress in order to get up in the morning, you know, cortisol and adrenaline and all these things that keep us functioning. So when we look at those energetic mappings of what centers we have, we call it defined when it's colored in. When we have those in our nature, what tends to happen when it comes to health is that oftentimes people misuse their energy, attempting to use this energy to, let's say, keep up with the world or do something that maybe they're not really designed for. And that's where we run into problems as far as challenges, as far as fatigue and anxiety and stress and angst, anything that is trying to push the flow of energy where maybe it's not ready to go or it doesn't want to go. Now, those energy functions, again, you have energy in your design. If you didn't, you wouldn't be alive. These energetic functions, if they're open or right, what happens then is that there's more variability. There's more amplification and potential distortion because you're taking in, think of the white places like a window or like a screen. You want to be a screen. You don't want to be a sponge when it comes to, like, as an example, if you're non-emotional, instead of taking on, you know, some empaths are really good at being able to feel into what other people are feeling. But if they take on their stuff and if they take ownership, look at the white places in your design, those places of what some people perceive to be vulnerability. See them as a gift to learn about what it's like to be in this life. Because when it's, let's say, as an example, totally open or white, you mastered all of that in a past life. There's nothing that you have to focus on in this life. It's totally open or white. You don't have any little, we call them gates, little planets hanging out of those centers. If you don't have any of those, then you mastered that. And so then in this life, it's about letting go. It's about being a flow, not trying to grasp or hold on to anything quite tightly. It's actually about relaxing and letting go any place that's light. And when we are seeing the openness from this perspective of wisdom, it is about letting go of anything that doesn't feel in alignment. It doesn't feel nourishing. It doesn't feel attuned to the nature of what we are really here to be alive and vital and play in the dance of reality with. So the openness gives us this capability of learning to be wise about what's moving through us from the outside world, tapping into the availability to discern. Whiteness is openness and it's fluid, flexible. It's a wisdom potential. Whereas the definition is, this is my specialty. This is my gift, colored in areas in the design. So there's a couple more centers I haven't gone through yet. Would you like a little guided tour? They're looking down at that map? Yeah.
Let's do it.
In the middle of the body graph, above the red square, there's going to be a yellow diamond or it will be white. The yellow diamond means you have a consistent identity, direction, and sense of love or purpose as far as the nature of what you're broadcasting, as far as who you are. Now, in my design, mine's colored in, but it's from the body. And the body is life, but it's not the mind giving this direction or speaking to you really at this moment. It is the body and its nature of its contribution to the throat. And the throat, again, manifestation, metamorphosis, it is about the communication and action, and it is about the capability of touching the outside reality. Then above that throat, we have two centers. And these centers give us the nature of our mental conceptualization, that downward pointing triangle. It may be white or it may be green. And then right above that, we have the head. And the head is, if you notice, it's sticking slightly outside of the body graph. And that is because this is your personality, where your personality crystal sits at the top of the head. And it gives us our mental pressure, questions, doubt, confusion, and inspiration of inner knowing or inner truths, the pressure of questions, of mysteries, of why. I like to call it the why in the sky. This is one of the ways that this mind is conceptualizing or pressured to understand the nature of our fundamental reality. So when we look at all of these different functions of the centers within the graph, you're looking at a map, again, not the territory, just the nature of your fundamental lifelong blueprint. And where you are open, you're going to school. Where you are defined, this is you as the student of life, where you're colored in. So those colored in aspects are unique to you, utterly. You see those channels that are creating the definition, those channels, the life force in your design. This is how you are absolutely different, highly differentiated, unique and specialized, correctly limited to the way in which you are here to be yourself. And in the openness, we see the magnificent beauty and wonderment, awe, what it is to be able to play.
Well, I think that would be a great time to transition into sort of the more experiential exercise, which builds off the graphs as well. So you want to tee that up and let's dive into that.
Absolutely. Okay. So I'm going to make a couple of statements. And for those of you who are advanced, if you know about your variables, one of the things that we're going to be diving into in this next flow of energy, if you'd like to join us, we're going to be going into the nature of first the brain body system. So if you're looking down at your map, you're going to see the unconscious on the left-hand side of that mapping. There's going to be a little arrow, and that arrow can either be pointed right or left. Okay, right or left. Now, those of you who are left, there's going to be a lot more energy and maybe activity in the brain, whereas those of you who are right are more passive, more relaxed. Now, it's not good, bad, right, wrong, but these are two very different ways in which you're here to take in life. Okay? So if your left variable is pointing to the left, it's by the sun and earth, little glyphs that have a little symbol of a cross inside of a circle or a dot inside of a circle. That's where you're looking for the arrow. Your left facing variable arrow is going to be very much about activity. Okay, activity. So if it's right for you, you might want to keep your eyes open, look down at your body graph. The rest of you, right facing variables, I want you to experiment closing the eyes. Okay? So in closing the eyes and keeping the eyes open, whatever feels right for you, what I want you to do is go into this felt sense of the body. The body, its fundamental nature of beauty, soft, warm, feeling, felt sense of the temple. The body, which is the house, magnificent house of the spirit. What you're going to do is, you can imagine this body temple. You are cradling your own body, your own blueprint. As you either soft gaze down at that mark, or you close your eyes in reverence. What I want you to see is that this map, this blueprint, it's only temporary. There are but a few different imprints that we carry with us life after life. But that is not the body. The body has its one precious life. And in this one precious life, you and I, my friends, we are all one of the global matrix, the cellular organism we call humanity. And just like each of us have so many different cells inside of this beautiful body, this body that has its own compass, this body that has a map, but not the territory. It's not the territory that we each of us have all of these cells singing their soul song, living, breathing, dying, renewing, aliving this energetic blueprint that each one of us has. And each one of those cells, they have a crystal of consciousness, just as you and I, my friends, we have crystals of consciousness that create the genetic blueprint, the hardwiring, the mapping that is not the territory. And what you're going to do is you're going to go into the very center of your sternum, right behind the breastbone. Okay? You're going to feel into that area. Some of you, about half, will have it colored in yellow, that diamond at the center of being. And some of you will have it open, white, this availability to learn about love, higher, transcendent love, and also direction, and also identity. This is the center of the self. And this is where we have what we call a magnetic monopole. This magnetic monopole, this beautiful diamond at the center of being, has a uniquely pulling monopole. It's pulling your personality and your design, your body together. It's holding you together. You're holding that beautiful one precious life that you have imagined. You're holding yourself as a tiny, small child, actively, perhaps if you are left facing variable, or passively, right facing, you are relaxed, passive. There is no stress. There is only the itness of being connected to the all that is, because this is where we have our body temple. This is where we have our own shaman or shaman priestess. This is where we have the ability to love humanity. This is the identity of the form. This is the ability to have this potential expression of self. This is the ability to have the creativity. It is the ability to have the leadership. It is the ability to have the fundamental nature of fellowship, of man listening to each other as we spill our guts or our secrets. This is the beauty, the magnificence, the awe and wonder of what you have, what you hold in your hands is your ability to tap into the higher self. This is where I'm speaking to you from, the higher self. And each one of you has this connection to the higher all that is this. There is no good, bad, right, wrong. There is no better than. And yet, as human beings, don't we judge? Don't we label? What I want you to do when you look down at that body graph, or you imagine it because your eyes are closed like me, and I am a right brain body system. What I want you to do is to know intrinsically, without a doubt, no shadows whatsoever. You are perfectly designed for the life purpose that you are here to live. There is no one like you, not one being in this beautiful, precious planet. And not that we are any better than, simply that we are utterly unique and divine. And as you rest in that space of divinity, what you will find is that there is no need for measurement, comparison. Yes, the mind will question. It will want validation. It will want assurances. You are fundamentally beautiful inside and out, no matter what your mind thinks of, measures, or doubts. What I want for you is to know the intrinsic beauty of this one precious life, this body that has no equal, that is absolutely precious and valuable simply because you exist. And as you come to rest in this space of grace, come to the aliveness and the vibrancy inside of this beautiful body temple, knowing that you step forth into the world, treating the body the way it was designed to be treated. This is the magnificent beauty of living life by design. You are designed to thrive. And it is my wish for you that you find that space with grace inside. The authority, the authoritative purpose of your life's meaning, your blessing, and your gift to be here now. Namaste. I hope
Beautiful.
that, thank you. I hope that that gives you a touch into the felt sense of what I wish to convey in the magnificence of what it is to be unique, special, and know it, and live it, and breathe it, and be it, and never question or doubt. Now, some of us are designed to question or doubt. And yet, if you can see it as like clouds across the sky, you know, it's the map, it's not the territory. It's not the wholeness and uniqueness. Yes, we all have ways in which we are sensitive to the outside world, and yet everything truly is inside. And when you can find that place inside that you can trust, now, even though life still may have challenges and things change and people die, you can rest in that space that gives you the grace of the aliveness and vitality of what you were born to be, whatever it is that you happen to be.
Mm.
So,
Beautifully shared and quite poetic as well. It's quite brilliant and poetic at the same time. I know we said we would cover a lot of ground here today, and an area that we haven't gone into yet is the primary health system and how that's
mhm.
encoded in the chart. And that'd be great to get a little bit of an overview of what that is and how it can be applied.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we're going to be going into in great depth when we talk about the program. But just at a very basic level, your personal health system or your dietary regimen comes from the body side, the physiological makeup of how you are here to uniquely differentiate or be predisposed to taking in life. So when you eat or nourish your body accordingly, it's not about what you eat at this level. It's about the conditions and circumstances under which you take in nourishment. Now, nourishment doesn't just have to be food. The information behind me is all nourishment for the brain. It's interesting. It's vitalizing, depending. I mean, you might prefer podcasts or maybe documentaries or magazines or movies or whatever it happens to be. When it comes to the control panel, you'll see at the top of your advanced body graph if you continue on in the journey with us. The control panel not only has your dietary regimen or the conditions and circumstances under which you take in nourishment, but it also has the way in which we are designed to be nourished from the outside in. Everyone knows if you walk into a cathedral or a cave, if you walk into a hut or some magnificent chalet, you're going to feel different in each of those environments. And not everybody has the same reaction to the place that they are in. We're all designed differently. I happen to be a mountains person. And we're going to deconstruct that because it's not about going up to live in a cave or at the beach or whatever it happens to be. It's about ensuring that within that environment that your body is fully nourished. It has its own form differentiation, or it has its own ability to connect with the outside world. We all have our auras. They breathe, they move. We have frequency. We're all vibrating creatures, and we can connect with the place. So by deconstructing also, we call it the lunar nodes. These are on the body side. You're going to find that there is a environmental ease that will increase your longevity should you be willing to experiment with living in accordance with the primary or personal health system. So that's a little overview on that side.
It's fascinating. And we also said we would talk a little bit about frequency and how it can release built up emotional shadows and energetic tension. So love to
Mm-hmm.
just get a little preview of that. I know you're going to go dive into more of this in your course.
Absolutely. So if we are all of us creatures that are vibrating, we all have a frequency. There's chemistry, there's energies. On the personality side, the capability of us being able to attune to that frequency, you can feel if you're on the same wavelength or, if you're really vibing with somebody or if you're capable or available to connect. It is all about frequency. We're all moving along paths or trajectories of energy. And so when we align to the correct frequency, as an example, if LaVeena is very excited, you'll feel it. If you are not necessarily open to my excitement because you've got your own way of going on and you're just like, no, I really feel like being over here. You're just a little bit too energetic for me, lady. Back off. That kind of frequency, we can actually tap into where it feels in the body, the solar plexus, as an example, even if you have it defined or undefined, if it's open or light, we all have this availability to take in energy and feel it in our bodies. So by attuning to either the vibratory nature of the cellular makeup, the frequencies that come off of our body through music, dance, song, art, poetry, whatever it is that floats your boat, that makes your heart sing, makes your soul happy. These things that you attune yourself to, that you surround yourself with, it makes a difference in the frequency of your chemistry, your aliveness, your vitality. An example, you're on social media, you're doom scrolling. Oh my God, all those horrible things that are happening. Look at how many cancer. I mean, just the exposure or the information informing the cellular makeup with what it is that you are taking into the body. You may feel like it, you may not, but be mindful of what it is that you're putting into the body because it's body temporal. It doesn't really make too much of a difference between you imagining something or actually experiencing something. And so it is very much about being careful or mindful with the stuff of life that you put into your body. You won't see any horror books on this shelf, as an example.
Hmm. Makes sense. Well, LaVeena, you're clearly just an incredibly deep authority on all these areas, and we could dive into them further here, but I also want to spend some time talking about your upcoming course, which is a really unique way to dive into the deeper and more advanced applications of human design in our lives. So we're very excited that LaVeena has agreed to offer this program. It is called Your Bioenergetic Map for Vitality. Apply your human design for greater energetic, physical, and emotional well-being. You can find it at the URL designtothrivecourse.com, designtothrivecourse.com. It's a 7-week program. And LaVeena, I'd love for you to share in your own words about some of what people will come away with and what your intentions are for the program.
Mm. I would imagine that if I could have my wish of everyone being their own authority as far as coming to grips with what it is that they can trust within their body, that that would be the best way that I could contribute by helping each individual get in touch with the nature of their fundamental reality of what they can trust within their body or within their process of being. Because there are a few that have an outer experience of authority that is either in connection with life, with the environment, or with the moon, the reflectors that I mentioned in the beginning. My biggest desire for this course is that each person comes to grip with the fact that they have no comparison, that each one is utterly unique. And by going through the steps of deconditioning, the deeper layerings of the map of being, this control panel that we're going to go into, if you've been in other human design courses or studying centers, channels, and circuitry, that's not what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going into the nature of treating the body like the temple that it is, not a toilet. And unfortunately, sad but true, what to do. Most people don't know how to treat their body or teach their children, but we're going to focus on just you going in through this course, you in your process of how you're here to be uniquely nourished from taking in life or being exposed to life. Now, the way in which that we're going to do this is an experiment. It is about trusting your body. So the first way in which we're going to get in touch with that is ensuring that you don't have any questions about how it is that you're here to really settle into the nature of being your own authority.
Beautiful intentions. So, Module 1 begins with decode your unique human design and spark the arc from resistance to empowered flow.
Mm-hmm. Resistance, frustration, anger, bitterness, and disappointment. These can be like flashes in the pans rather than something that you live with day by day, frustrated, super slaving away at a job that you hate, living in a body that's filled with pain, anger, remorse, guilt, regret. Instead of subjecting yourself to such pain, longing for something different, settling into the relaxedness of being in a body, settling into the relaxedness of being in a body that is cared for deeply, that you love unconditionally. And if you're looking into the mirror and regretting, shaming, blaming, guilting, faulting, I wish I didn't have this or that, this is one of the places to start, beginning with feeding the body correctly, has to do with making decisions correctly first. Now, about half of the population, all of us who had the right variable arrow gets deeply conditioned from birth through food. So if you've been studying human design for a while and you can't make your own decisions correctly, we're going to start with that first basic, fundamental. How do we be our own authority? But the next step that we're going to give us the title of, that really is necessary for about half of the population at least.
Module 2, nourish your body with a customized plan within the primary health system dietary framework.
So when we go into the nature of the body, this body that is how you are here to be who you are, broadcasting the nature of your essence and grounded into the balance of what it is to be you. It's designed to take in nourishment very uniquely, very differently. And there's a cognitive difference that each of us have on the brain body side, a unique way of attuning to how we are nourished by life. Is it smell? Is it taste? Is it touch? Is it seeing, outer or inner vision? Is it the way in which we feel things deeply? How you are here to be cognitively different nourishes you from the inside out so that you don't get what Rock calls fat brain. Fat brain is when you're nourishing aspects of your body that are not designed to be nourished. So instead of specializing as you are supposed to or here to do, uniquely specialized, highly differentiated, you start to do things that are maybe not in your wheelhouse. And then it's a little bit harder of a slog to do these things that aren't really aligned with who you are for yourself, and you can justify or rationalize it, that starts to go away. The anxiety, sometimes the depression, sometimes this may exacerbate things a little bit in that you start to relax and then maybe your mind is starting to go crazy. Am I really supposed to be this relaxed? Can I be this relaxed? Is it okay to be relaxed? I'm usually so anxious. I'm usually so nervous, or whatever it happens to be. So there's a little bit of some deconditioning, kind of like when you do a detox. This first dietary regimen step is the part that is going to help you get off that train of trying to go uphill when there's really no need and no point. You don't have to. You can sit back into ease and flow. And so this first step of the dietary regimen is the thing that's going to make it so that you feel more relaxed in this body, the temple, the house of the spirit.
Super practical. So then module 3 goes into harmonize your environments to optimize energetic flow.
Yeah. The environment is part of the ability to have longevity. Let's say you are a person who is like a sports car. You're really fast. You're really speedy. It. This is the way that you're living your life. Really want to go fast. Or let's say that you're somebody who actually more prefers off-roading. We're not going fast off-roading. We want our Jeep. We want our four-wheel drive. We want our ability to have, our slow snail's pace, enjoying the scenery as we take it in. Every being has a different connectivity to the outside world. We have an energetic capability of feeling like we're in our groove when we're in the right place. For some of us, it'll feel like we can breathe easier. For others, it'll feel like we can think clearer. For others, you might have more energy. It's going to be really unique to you. But ultimately, it is about longevity. So if longevity is something that's meaningful to you, is something that you are looking for a way to, this is the class for you.
Module 4, address health challenges and imbalances with the magic square.
Yeah, if you have not yet heard of the magic square, are you in for a treat? The magic square is an aspect of the advanced chart where we can see the nuances and subtleties, the accents of what makes you unique and different. And in the magic square, we can see different ways in which you may be sensitive or likely to experience challenges. And so by knowing that these are your different little, let's say, shamans, the magic square is composed of the planetary activations within your natal physiological design on the body side. And so that's where I'm going to give you some tips, some tricks, some tools, some techniques for getting in touch with what is inside of you that's maybe asking or requesting a little bit of extra help, support, or guidance along the path of your differentiated divinity.
Module 5, explore awareness practices with rave psychology for heightened adaptability and authentic presence.
Yeah. Rave psychology, and that's what I am, a rave psychologist, is the second piece of our awakening divinity. And psychology means simply that the way in which your mind, which is the witness of this body, which is the life, the way in which your mind is designed to be aware of what is happening, what is there. All of us have a way in which we're designed to see. Our perspective, our capability of seeing things uniquely and differently, being attuned to where we are in the life, this body, and where it happens to be. Maybe we're on the freeway, maybe we're off-roading, but how we see as we're traversing the path of our trajectory, our life existence. This is very important for us to be aware of, so that when we get distracted, oh, pretty, or squirrel, we don't actually follow the squirrel or get distracted by the shiny, pretty object. We go, oh, that's interesting. And we keep on our own path and our own way of seeing. This is a really interesting key. If you're someone like me who wants to understand the nature of reality and why do we all see the way that we see, this particular class is going to help you attune to the nature of how you're designed to perceive, to attune to being in this world. And that is the thing that helps you develop the platform for your consciousness that is truly unique and different and special in your life.
Module 6, ignite your motivation and transform your health goals into purposeful soul-aligned expression with rave psychology.
Yeah, this is a part 2 of rave psychology. And once we see things aligned or correctly, now we can have the motivational frequency of how our life's purpose is here to be fulfilled. So we're looking now at the sun and earth on the personality side. Motivation is the way in which you're designed to sing your soul song. Each of us has a life's work, and underneath the life's work, there is a motivational frequency. This frequency is designed to be unique. So if we are all watching a movie, and we're watching, let's say, The Princess Bride, one of my favorites from when I was a kid, okay? Princess Bride. If that Princess Bride had different ways in which she was singing her lines, let's say we had a different actress, we had a different movie set, but still the same theme, it would be a different movie. Each one of us is here to have a unique expression of the way in which we fulfill our life's work. So when you find the way that you're here to be motivated correctly versus the way that you are misaligned or not distracted, but distorted, this way in which that is completely incorrect for you to express the nature of your being. You can watch and you can observe, and instead of shaming, blaming, guilting, faulting, just see it as a signpost of being out of integrity, and no self-flagellation, no mental machinations. It's simply about being aware. And once you're aware, you can touch with this, it's almost be like a satori, and touch with the nature of the personality, the you that was you before time was time, the eternal nature of your passenger, your spirit of abundance that arises from inside in the unique way that you are here to express the nature of your divinity. That is all we're looking for, really. It's like the jewel at the center of the lotus of your awareness, really coming to grips with what is it that is unique to you? What is it that you can give to another as far as the frequency of the quality of your consciousness?
And finally, Module 7, alchemize your shadows to unlock profound health and embrace authentic voices of manifestation.
Mm-hmm. Now, the voices of manifestation is going to take a lot longer for me to explain than just that one class. So this is why we put into place a very special bonus that you'll get if you sign up in time to take advantage of the voices truly in relational dynamic, not only to yourself, but also to your partner, to the world. But in this class, this final wrap-up class, what I want for you is to be able, I'm going to give you keynotes, clues, tips, tricks, techniques, to be able to write a paragraph of what it is that is not unique to you, that is actually distraction and distortion. So the shadows are the distractions of being out of alignment or integrity with the unique sovereign nature of your own innate divinity. And what that does is it puts you in touch with this place inside of you that you've been trying desperately to be true or to be reliant upon to make unique and different, when all it really is openness and sometimes great vulnerability. Those shadows, those distortions or distractions away from the nature of your true being, if we can shine a spotlight on them, sometimes, when you shine the spotlight, the shadow grows, don't you know? But when we shine it enough to see through the lie, the false narrative of the ego eye, what we can take away from that is to know without a shadow of a doubt that that is not truly unique to you, that it's just a shadow to see through. And so that's going to be one of the activities and the takeaway I'd like for you, as well as I'll give you starting phrases based on your design, based on your natal blueprint, the voices of intelligence, of authenticity that you need to hear coming out of your own mouth to be clear about the nature of your manifestation capacity, because we all have the ability to manifest. It's just for some of us, it's very inconsistent. I'm not a manifester. I don't have energy to throat. Whereas some of us do have the capability of making it happen quick as a bunny or not. Depends. It depends on you. And I'd like you to be able to see how it is true for you.
Well, it's really clear in going through these modules just what a wealth of wisdom you have in each area. And so, again, the whole course is laid out in more detail at designtothrivecourse.com. If you choose to move forward, you're going to get those 7 90-minute live sessions with LaVeena, and each is going to have time to ask your questions live. You also get recordings, video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts. You'll get weekly exercises to support you. There's a community group as well, so you can make connections. And on the page, you'll see a number of extra bonuses, each of which is designed to complement the core teachings. There's a PDF guide on Shadows to Sovereignty reference sheet. There's an ebook from LaVeena called Bad Medicine Blues, Tuning Out Sick Care, Tuning Into Nature's Cure. And then there's a very special bonus that is available when you sign up by midnight tonight, which I think we just referenced, was Understanding Your Voice, 6 exclusive communication videos. That's a full self-study video course. It's your special bonus for signing up right away. And LaVeena, you want to add anything more about that bonus?
Yeah, with that particular bonus, you're going to find that not only do you learn about yourself and the nature of your own individual capability of communication, action, metamorphosis, manifestation, but also the relational dynamic that you have to an other in partnership or in communion. And
Mm.
so it's a very special way in which I would like to gift you the ability to really step into the nature of the mechanics, hopefully to the benefit of not only you, but also your partner too.
Mm. That's a great extra bonus and a great extra reason to sign up right away to get that. So it's truly going to be such a groundbreaking and very practical and very powerful program. We've kept the investment very accessible, just 3 payments of $128, or you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start January 22nd and run Thursdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. Even if you can't make the live times, though, you will still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. There's some great testimonials about LaVeena and her teaching and leadership and expertise. So you're in really good hands, and you're going to come up with some really practical insights and tools to really optimize the design of your life around your human design. So with that said, again, it's all in more detail at designtothrivecourse.com, and you'll get that special bonus by midnight, which is the 6 exclusive communication videos called Understanding Your Voice. And then you'll be, ready to roll for the course. So, LaVeena, it's been great to be with you and receive some of your wisdom. Anything still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the course with you?
The beginning of your human design experiment, so many people get caught up in this. Am I doing it right? Is this the right way in which that I am supposed to be behaving because of whatever my human design? heart size. And I'd like to just kind of quell those doubts or confusions that you might have, looking for something outside of you to tell you what to do or what's good, bad, right, and wrong. There is no good, bad, right, or wrong. There is no better than. We all have a unique path and trajectory and indeed blueprint to be aligned to. And if you are off track or misaligned, there is no problem. It is simply testing and teaching, and it is an availability for you to step back on the path to you. And so this is what I would like for you. I warmly invite you, encourage you to see if it's right for you to step through this doorway, this portal into the nature of your own sovereignty, to experience the abundance of spirit and the nature of your differentiated divinity. Much love to each of you.
What a warm and inspiring invitation to join you. So thank you so much for your wisdom, your warmth, and a clear depth of practice with this system. So it's a blessing for all of us. So thank you all for joining. And if you'd like to go further, again, it's all at designtothrivecourse.com, and you're going to get that special bonus if you sign up by midnight tonight, which is all around the communication. And it's called Understanding Your Voice, 6 exclusive communication videos. So thank you so much, LaVeena. Thank you all. Many blessings.
Thank you, Stephen. My pleasure.